Good morning, everybody. Quick video on the morning commute. Something super important I wanted to talk about this morning is relationships and your reputation. And I'll get the book part right out of the way, but I've been talking about finishing up Am I Being Too Subtle by Sam Zell. Phenomenal book, but part of it throughout he talks about relationships and people he met maybe a decade earlier ended up being his point guy in a foreign country or something. And I have, obviously not to that extent, but I have experienced this myself, and it's wild to see. But I guess the overall point is, you're kind of always being watched by people, whether it's from afar or up close, right? So that's on the reputation side. But again, I think they dovetail the reputation with the relationships, right? Because you kind of can't have one without the other. But so for instance, in this deal that we're getting into very soon is my partner that I have coming with me. I've known him since high school, right? So I've known him for 20 years, and obviously it goes without saying that you're not the same person you were 20 years ago, or at least you absolutely shouldn't be, right? So we've both seen ourselves and a lot of other people over that time, and some people grow and some people I guess decline or stagnate. So we both from kind of afar, up close at times and afar for most of the time, like what we saw from each other, right, over that time. And then boom, here we are, we getting to a venture together, and it's wicked cool to do something like that. And again, it goes to each of our reputations to each other, and we've had some candid, open conversations about it over the last couple months, and it's been awesome. But it's led to an increase in our relationship now. We're jumping in the same boat, which is great. And then obviously every deal I do, my wife comes with us because she's my biggest partner, and not just in the family or spouse sense. She's a business asset, right? So my wife is, she's run businesses, and I've touted this many times, but she's doubled top and bottom line revenue for one of the dentist office she worked at in 6 months. So she has, very good capabilities and skills in the professional realm, and I'm blessed to have that on my team. My wife is a powerhouse when it comes to that stuff, so really excited to do that. But same thing, right? Talk about a relationship. I mean, that could be crazy. Obviously, working with your wife, we've had our real estate company for years, so we were just renovating a house together while she's 9 months pregnant. These are all things that just make life interesting and valuable, going through stuff and just doing things that most people won't do or choose not to do. But yeah, my wife has talk about reputation. My wife, her thoughts on me and my thoughts on her are the cornerstone of our entire world, right? But it's our family. Business is one thing, but then, I was thinking this morning, if your relationship breaks down with your wife, you come home, you could be the smartest, rich, and I've seen this happen to people. You could be the smartest, wealthiest guy around. You come home and you're homeless temporarily. You know what I mean? And obviously you don't wish that on anyone, but that's the power of obviously keeping a good reputation relationship with your significant other. And then, me and my wife, like I said, we're all in on everything we do together. So it's business and family, and it works for us. I don't like to give advice and stuff like that because, maybe for other people that sounds crazy and it's too close or whatever, but for us it's perfect. But Sam Zell, he talks about, as far as reputations, he talks in that book about this Baal Shem Tov, or he just says Shem Tov for short. this Jewish saying about, you know, the master of a good name. And it's again, I've two things on that. It's good to have a good reputation. I look at it again, if I'm a big follower of Stoicism, so I think the highest that you can achieve in life is just living a good and just and moral life. And if that is your highest principle, that it's a good, you know, North Star in everything you do, deals, personally, professionally, whatever. But you know, your reputation will spring from that, right? You don't have to go out of your way to do anything or keep up appearances or whatever. If you just do what you think is morally right and just all the time. And obviously that goes to say no one's perfect. You're going to make mistakes, but when you do, you own up to them and you move forward and you improve your situation, you know. And it's just on the topic of reputation again, it's ironic that I've always tried to be a good person in my life and I have made mistakes. And talk about, you know, a good name. I've had people, again, you get in political races, some people, when they don't like you, they don't care that you can easily pick apart their entire philosophy on what they think will help people, you know, and you can completely shatter that. It's like, you were arrested 10 years ago, right? And I'm a menace to society, so I've been on the flip side of that, which is funny because, yeah, I'm an Iraq War veteran. Yeah, I'm a self-made guy who comes from nothing and turned it all around. We live in the best neighborhood now in my city. You know, all of that, throw that aside. You know, they wanna, you know, tint your reputation until it's like one night you had that you made a mistake, and it's, you know, it's kind of funny. And again, they don't talk about ultimately, you know, you've never been convicted of a crime in your life, or, you know, whatever the actual result was. They just want to try to throw them out on you. That's the flip side of it. But again, if you have a genuine good reputation, you know, that kind of defeats all those attacks and whatnot. You know, it kind of takes the wind right out of their sails, because you have people that, you know, kind of step up for you and just say, you don't know who this type of guy is. But yeah, it's what. Now, one other thing too I wanted to say, as far as reputations and relationships, when I was putting this deal together, you know, I was able to get someone who knew me pretty well to come in as an investor, and then I also was able to get the same time, because obviously I'm shopping it to multiple people. I got someone who didn't know me that much at all, right? He knew me from a couple conversations, less than 5 minutes, and he was willing to come through. So that, you know, how do you explain those two things, right? If I'm saying reputation means everything, and then someone can offer to come in, buy in, invest in you in minutes, right? Well, one thing I've found is, you know, and again, Kyle Malian asked me one time, you know, what's your superpower? And, you know, sitting there like an idiot and just trying to be honest, I just thought, you know what I mean, and not thinking too highly of myself, that I'm extremely likable. So people will laugh to hear that, but also that I'm not greedy, right? So that is key in business, right? So if you're not trying to take every last penny from everyone involved, and if you could sacrifice personally to, you know what I mean, to better the people that you're looking to partner up with, that is a superpower in itself. And Jen and I pride ourselves on that. So that, and I get that, you know, Alex Hormozy articulates that very well in his book, $100 Million Offers, where he says, you know, all offers should be boiled down to what? So you don't like money? So if you could craft the deal to be so good for someone, right, which I believe I did in this case, you could get a commitment immediately, right? It's like, how selfless do you want to be? And you don't even have to have a strong relationship with someone. And again, if you just put a deal together and you guys have, you know, common values on the surface or whatnot, and you can always try to delve into that and see how true that is. But if you just can put the other person ahead of you a little bit, and put yourself back a little bit in financial means, man, that will overcome. You don't have to have a 10-year relationship with someone. I think reputation is still huge. You know, you're not going to do business with someone, even if they promise you the moon, you know, if it's not someone you want to talk to. Damon John once said that, you know, the number one factor he chooses if he's going to invest in somebody is if he likes the person or not. And he says, quite simply, do you want to talk to that guy when he calls you all the time? You want to get on the phone with him for the next 5-10 years? You know what I mean? Do you not like dealing with the person, or do you? So all this stuff matters. And again, there's a couple. Hormozi's book is amazing. $100 million Office. Sam Zell, Am I Being Too Subtle? If you're in business, check both those out. Even on a human level, Zell gives a lot of stories about his personal life and stuff that are phenomenal. But those are just some of my thoughts that are going through my head right now. I'm very thankful for the people I do have in my life on all levels, personally, professionally. And again, my mission is to just keep pushing the envelope for myself and my family, help as many people as I can, help as many people in my community that I can. And it's been great so far. I'm very thankful, and I'm really looking forward to pushing it even farther. All right, so have a great Friday, everybody.